All right, wholesalers, we've got the legendary Derrick Kinney, absolute treasure in this industry. If you don't know Derrick, he built, scaled, and sold a top 1% advisory business. So the man knows what he's doing. He now helps advisors attract high net worth clients, which we all know as wholesalers, right? You have to provide value to your advisors. What do advisors want to do? They want to attract high net worth clients, correct? Have you ever met an advisor, Derrick, that doesn't want to attract high net worth clients?
That's the number one wish list. If I saw their Christmas wish list, it would say, "I want high net worth clients."
Are you sure on the Christmas wish list it doesn't say I want to meet with a wholesaler to find whatever the best large cap fund they have? Is that on their Christmas wish list?
I may be a bit further down, but let's not talk about that. The goal is to move that up as well. That's right.
So the goal of today's conversation is, because you were a top 1% advisor, you've seen, I'm sure, a ton of wholesalers. I'm sure everybody was trying to get in with Derrick. So today's conversation is going to just be centered around helping wholesalers. So let me just start off with this. You know, when would you decide to even take a meeting with a wholesaler?
Well, Matty, here's the truth. There's no shortage of wholesalers out there, but we've got a problem, and most wholesalers miss this. What they believe to be true is if I've got the best product, the best service, the best features, the best benefits, surely these advisors will open their door and love to have me visit with them. The problem is you're a commodity. You sound and look like everybody else. Now, let me take you back behind the curtains here. When I was an advisor, I had three favorite wholesalers. When their names popped up, I told my team automatically get them in. Why? Because they led with value, not the feature and the benefit or the return of how they're funded over the past 6 months. They came armed with, hey, Derrick, let me tell you what top advisors I work with are doing right now. How can I help you get your next best client? What would you say is the best way I can help you grow your business? And then they took probably of the 30 minutes we were together, the last 5 minutes, hey, by the way, let me mention this fund and this fund. Here's the ones I'd recommend for this type of client. They guided me to say, how can I use their product or service easily with this exact client? You see, they weren't a wholesaler, Matty D. They were like a free business coach bringing the value in their duffel bag and breaking it out, and it helped make me money and attract clients. That's what I believe. If you want to be the wholesaler that gets remembered and more importantly gets invited in, you want to bring the value.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, we always joke that no advisor has woke up in the morning and said, what would solve all my problems in life is, a great product. And I think one of the advantages that wholesalers have is they get to meet with every advisor in the territory, right? So, um, one simple thing that wholesalers can do is when you meet with an advisor, rather than immediately talking about product, ask them. Just say, hey, in terms of attracting new clients, what are some of the best things that you've done in your career? Well, if you have that conversation 20 times, now you can go to other advisors in your territory and say, hey, I just talked to 20 advisors on the best thing that they've done to grow their business in their career. Would you mind if I shared one or two of the top ones with you? Right?
Yeah. And what I like about that, think of yourself as a wholesaler, not just as a product partner, but you're bringing the intel that the advisors want. I mean, think about this. When people do surveys and they survey people, they release the survey. Imagine you're the wholesaler, you got the intel, you're talking to all the top advisors hungry to grow. You can walk in and say, hey, in case you're curious, here are the top three concerns other advisors like you that are hungry to grow are worried about right now. And here are some of the solutions they're coming up with to handle those. You're no longer just a wholesaler. You're like, hey, how often can you meet with me? Can we pre-book time together like every 6 weeks? You see, that's legit. Just like I coach my advisor clients how to approach centers of influence. You don't want to be the dime a dozen thinking you might have the hot investment, then maybe they'll put some money in, but eventually what happens to the hot investment? It cools down fast. If you want to be the hot wholesaler who stays pretty sizzling hot, you want to bring the intel that's going to bring in the next best client to that advisor.
That's a great point. You can control what you can control. You can
Yeah.
always control that you can help an advisor solve their problems. You can't control your investment going down. You can't control, oh my goodness, Matt, I sell annuities and now there's 35 competitors. We're all selling that, like, oh my God, this company just bumped up their rates and now we're the fourth. Like, you can't control that. We can't, right?
No.
But you can control the value that you bring to your advisors. And um, Derrick, what are some of the things that are important to advisors right now? What are some of their pain points? I mean, you get to, work with some of the best advisors in the business. What are some things that wholesalers should be thinking about to help their advisors?
Yeah. Well, when I step off a stage, one thing that causes advisors to line up and say, Derrick, can we work with you? Is I'm not there to change their life and I'm not there to change their business plan. I'm there to give them, I call it a little quarter twist. It's the small steps that lead to big results. So if you're a wholesaler right now and you want to add value, the key is thinking about what does that advisor most want? And there's one radio station every advisor listens to, and it's WIIFM. What's in it for me? How can I use your product, your service to help me get my next best client? And I like to think about some people are more growth minded advisors and some are more lifestyle advisors. But what I find is there's this universal emotion, if we're all being honest, that when you get a new client in your office, you feel alive. Like when I get a new client, I feel alive. It's like I get to have fresh people to work with, fresh money to invest, fresh strategies. It brings out the best in me. And so you work too hard as an advisor to not bring in new clients. So wholesalers, if you can see through the eyes of the advisor, doesn't matter what you think they're thinking, all that matters is what they are thinking, and can you help them solve their problems? Even asking your advisors, hey, I like to ask every advisor I visit with, if we were working together 12 months from now, we're having our favorite beverage together, what needs to happen for you to say, this was the best wholesaling relationship I've ever had? And then shut up and listen. They're going to give you the GPS for success in your relationship because no wholesaler ever asks that. They lead with their product catalog, they slap it down and start boring advisors from the moment they open their mouth. Don't do that. Lead with value and you'll become more valued.
Wow. What was that sentence again, Derrick? Say that one more time. That was I need to write that down.
Lead with value and you'll become more valued.
And I think the problem is, these companies out there, they only train their wholesalers on the product, right? So when a wholesaler meets with an advisor, what are they going to talk about?
Well, and think about this. When I was a young advisor, just starting off, I made a fatal mistake. I thought what would impress people who want to work with me is I've got access to this stock, this bond, this annuity, this fund. I thought that would be the breakthrough that would cause that high net worth prospect to say, oh my gosh, Derrick, you're the answer to all my hopes and dreams. And it didn't happen at all, Matty D. I was disappointed every single time because I looked and sounded like everybody else. So that's why, as we do these virtual events and we talk about if you want to make it rain, connect with pain. The whole goal is teaching it. And as the wholesaler, teaching the advisor, who is it that is your ideal client? What is their easily relatable pain point that they will instantly connect with? When you can teach these advisors, as I do, and we specialize in this, here's who we work with, here's the pain point, here's how we fix that, you've now opened a door. So it's sort of like this analogy of I could go fishing and give somebody the fish and they eat for the day. But if I can teach you how to fish, Now I'm a trusted resource. I'm the guide you want on the boat on every fishing trip you go on because I know where the fish are biting. If you can teach and help advisors get their next best ideal client, now they have a reason to use your products and services. Make it easy. Get them a client, they're going to use what you want them to use.
I love that. I love that. And yeah, Derek, I'm just curious. Think back of some of the wholesalers that you've worked with during your career. Do you have any specific stories on what wholesalers have done to help you and help you grow your business and help you be more efficient? Anything come to mind?
Well, one of the things they did, and this is interesting, and it's something that most wholesalers miss. There's some really good ones out there, but I wanted a story. Advisors often bore their clients without knowing it. Most people want the result. They work with the advisor, help me retire, and help me live the life I want. But what if you could make investing more exciting and more engaging for that client? So when the wholesaler comes in and listens to the advisor, hey, what is the problem that you've got that I can help you solve? How can I help you get your next ideal client? And you've got a strategy there. That advisor feels listened to. And then the wholesaler wisely says, you know what, as you're talking about that, I've got one idea I want to share with you. And here's why I think it could fit with that client. And here's the story behind it. And I'll tell you a quick story. One of my favorite investments back in the day was a preferred stock called Grand Metropolitan. Paid about a 7% dividend. And the story that I would tell people is it was a holding company and it held such companies like Smirnoff Vodka and it held one of the ice cream companies. I think it was, I can't, we're gonna have to edit this, but I can't think of the name of the ice cream, but it was premium ice cream. Okay, so whatever the market was doing that day, whether it was down, you're drinking Smirnoff vodka. If it's up, oh, Haagen-Dazs, you're eating the Haagen-Dazs ice cream. And so people loved it because there was a story they could connect with. So the wise wholesaler brings a practical, easy to remember story along with the great product for the advisor. That way you've left them with a tool that makes sense that the advisor can remember, and then they'll remember you, the wholesaler, every time they tell that story.
Wow. It's the great wholesalers are great storytellers. I can still think of some of my mutual fund wholesalers that I used to partner with. And 20 years ago, he would show a huge map of the earth at night, right? So there you could see the lights from space. And he'd say, hey, 30 years from now, do you think there will be more lights or less lights? And everybody would say, oh, of course, more lights. That's why we should invest in equity. It was always,
Yeah.
but he showed this photo and told this story 20 years ago, and I still remember it 20 years later. So it's amazing how a story helps you connect with people. The other thing I was going to ask you is, what are some of the wholesaler don'ts, right? Like, what are the ones that you've seen that you're like, kind of like oh man, like that's something I would avoid in a way.
Yeah. Well, how I judge a wholesaler is how I coach advisors to build rapport and relationship with that prospective client. So typically the wholesaler might come into my office or it's on Zoom, but that wholesaler's job is to build a personal bond with me as fast as possible. If I'm the wholesaler and I'm walking into the advisor's office, man, I'm a detective looking around. I'm looking for anything like, hey, what is that? I see that painting. I'm asking about anything in the office to get that advisor talking about themselves. And then I'll often ask the question, hey, crazy question. I ask every advisor this, what is one thing you like to do for fun? Well, that what to do for fun question is like opening the private vault of people's lives, and they're going to tell you some crazy stuff. I love to play pickleball. I love to rebuild go-karts. I love to jump off of roofs without a rope. Who knows what they're going to say, but they're going to share personal stuff. And now you've got a hook So now the wise wholesaler sends an item of value once a month, every quarter, to their top most desirable advisors. Hey, when I saw this article about pickleball, made me think about you. Nothing product related, but a nice little pickleball with a note, and drop that in the mail. You see, now you're building mental capital with these high quality advisors. And it's the same thing I teach my advisors to do as well. So when you lead with the product, you lose. When you lead with the problem, you win. Products are less profitable. Solving the problems are the most profitable path to get invited back every single time.
Yeah, and if this is helpful, one of my good friends, Jeremy, he was a great gifter, and he taught this framework, the USP framework. A gift has to be unique, it has to be a surprise, and it has to be personalized. So for my advisors that play pickleball, because I do have a lot of advisors that are addicted to pickleball, myself included, um, everybody has a pickleball paddle cover, right? So there's a service online where I'll get a pickleball paddle cover with their name and their firm logo on the pickleball paddle rather than just the generic one that comes with the paddle. And one, they love it, right? Because they're like, this is Matt, this is awesome. Two, every time they play pickleball, they take their paddle out of the cover and they put it back in. They're thinking about you. You have mindshare with that client every single time they're playing
Love
pickleball,
it.
right? So
Yeah. Yeah, the personalization piece is really the key. And one thing I would say, like in that case there, I might make the logo the smallest element on there,
yeah,
and it's all about putting their name, or if you know like a favorite quote they've got, put that on there. Like one of our friends, he will actually buy some of these knives and put a quotation on the knife and give that to the person, or have one of these cutting boards etched in with their name on it, no logo at all, but people remember, that's from Matty D. I got to tell you the story. And so the name is the brand that people care about versus the logo sometimes. But what I would just tell wholesalers is, you're working with people. I know you've got product and you've got quotas and you've got somebody probably breathing down your neck. I need to see results. But ultimately, when that advisor feels they know you, like you, trust you, like you're there to help them grow their business, like you're a coach walking alongside that advisor then, when they get new clients, they're thinking of you. I mean, what's the better attraction strategy here, Matty D? Is it as the wholesaler, look, I've got the best fund, we're in the top percent, this is number one, great, but next week that could change. Or here's a proven strategy that I've talked with my other top advisors that I think will help you get your next best client. And when you do, here's a strategy that might work for you. That's going to be the way for them to use more of your product, because when you add value, you become more valued.
and I was just talking to a wholesaler about this, and here's what happens in real life is, to your point, your manager they need to see meeting count, right? We need to see 20 to 25 meetings a week.
Yeah.
So the wholesaler's initial thought process is, I need to dig out of this hole by quantity, right? Let me email 2,000 advisors and see if they'll take a meeting with me. Let me, but really the answer is always quality, right?
Quality.
You can never out quantity your way to a good wholesaling career. You have to really focus on quality, and it's not easy to do, but if you can just say, hey, rather than emailing 1,000 advisors to see if they'll meet with me, maybe really put hours into emailing 15 that are important, but really make it an amazing personalized message that hits on um, their personal life. To your point, their goals and objectives. You're referencing their website. You're helping their team. Maybe you're doing something for their regional leader. Um, but every wholesaler gets caught in this quantity game, and they think they can out quantity uh, out of the situation. It's like you're actually making a bad situation worse. Like now advisors are turning you off even more because you just sent a generic, message out to 1,000 people. Like,
Yeah.
what good is
It's
that going to
interesting you say that because some of the language that I've been testing with my top advisors lately is how to best ask for referrals. And so many advisors wait to the very end of the visit, and I call them visits, not meetings, to ask for referrals. And typically energy is low and they're not the best version of themselves. So instead, I say to advisors, hey, ask for referrals in the middle of the visit when energy is high. And the language that I use is, would you be willing to consider referring me? Okay. So some people say, give me referrals. Can you refer me? But when you say, would you be willing to consider? Now, here's why that matters. I think the wise wholesalers today, going back to what you just said, playing the quality versus the quantity game is by adding value and then asking confirming questions. Hey, Maddie D, I know you visit with a lot of wholesalers. On a scale of 1 to 10, candidly, how would you rate our time together today? Oh, an 8. Okay. What could I have done to move it from an 8 to a 10? Then they tell you. Now they're giving you the golden ticket to success in their world. And then what you want to say is, hey, I know you're very busy. Would you be willing to consider referring me to some of the other advisors that you most admire? I like your style, and most advisors I work with that are very hungry to grow like you tend to hang around other advisors much like themselves. And then see what they say. You see, now when there's that personal introduction, like nobody typically refers a wholesaler. It's just the wholesaler versus the world, and we're just going to bang all the doors down. But when
Yeah.
you can build that advocacy, hey, this wholesaler is unlike any other one you've ever talked to. This person actually helps me grow my business. You ought to take at least 10 minutes with them. I think you'll be impressed. Now you've got the intro, which is opening that door to goals. Now, again, this is what I teach my advisors of how to think differently. Most people derive, I've just got to do all the mass things so that I feel busy doing something. And then it continually leads to disappointment. I got 0.01 response on my cold emails, no results. But if I call the right person, I like to say face to face wins the race and voice to voice is the best choice. When you do those things and you have human connection, now people want to help you. And often the biggest payoff comes from the slowest approach.
Wow, it's funny because most wholesalers don't get referrals. I mean, to your point, it's hard to refer a product. And advisors rarely going to refer a product because, as you just mentioned, if that product, if they have nothing to gain, right?
Right.
But if you're a wholesaler, the hard part is number one, you do have to add value. If you want to become referable, meaning one, they're going to refer you to another advisor. Two, even better, they're going to refer you to the branch manager, the regional leader. That's amazing because that if you do a good job there, then they can put you in front of all the advisors and give you some top-down support. But there's a couple things that you need to be good at. And number one is you have to add the value, right? Hey, I
Yeah.
know most advisors want to get in front of they want to get one new ideal client a month. I can help you with that.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to provide better service to your existing clients so that you get more referrals. Let me show you how to do that. Hey, let me show you how to reach out to more COIs. Let me show you the language, the script. Hey, let me teach you how to increase your revenue per client and your right? You need to be able to do all these things. And then when you do that, and the advisor says, and they do give you a name. So a great wholesaler who's been in the business 30 years, he just called me yesterday. He said, Matt, I'm getting referrals, but when I reach out to the advisor, they're ghosting me.
Mm.
So, what Bill Cates will tell you is, hey, it's not even good enough to get, it's not even good enough to get the referral. You actually have to get the advisor to introduce you. And to me, it's like you have to go one step further and you have to give them the language to send in the email. So like the subject line might say, "Hey, Derrick Kinney, meet Matt Deford. Derrick just got out of a meeting with Matt. He's a fantastic wholesaler. I'm currently using XYZ product. Thought you should at least be aware of what they offer. He's also a great partner for me and my team. A lot of wholesalers use the word partner, but Matt
Yeah.
truly brings this concept to life. He recently did a seminar for me and my clients, and he's helping me with my digital event strategy." You literally got to give them all of the, you have to make it so easy for them to introduce you. Hey, I'd highly recommend getting with Matt. He also said, he'd take us out to lunch he'd take all three of us out to lunch, right? I know you're a big foodie. Anyway, it's like, if you're missing any steps of the chain, you get ghosted.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. Well, if you force people to burn their brain cells to figure out what you're asking them to do, you lose. When I'm driving on the highway, I play a game of how quickly can I understand what a billboard is telling me. And often these billboards are probably $3,000, $4,000 a month. And there's often so many words, I can't process it driving only the speed limit, which I only do, of course, maybe a slightly faster. But I think somebody wasn't factoring in, sure, it looked good like this, but how
Yeah.
does it look with 1 second to go? And so if it causes me to burn my brain cells to figure it out, I've just moved on. And so you want to make it easy. But I like to say, communicate like a third grader. You want to say your message with the least amount of words possible that instantly connects. Hey, if you're looking for this, this solves this. Great. Now, the product literature and all the marketing experts at these firms, nope, you got to read the whole paragraph, you got to say this, and then the eyes glaze over. People go comatose in the meeting right in front of you. It's terrible. So you want to connect with a pain point. If you want a business that's booming, focus on the human. And ultimately, that advisor, they're not a number, they're not a quota, they're a person with real goals, real dreams, real aspirations to be better than where they currently are right now. And when you can find out just one thing about them, one thing that drives them, and you just remind them of, hey, last time we were here, you said this was important to you. Is that still important? Okay. Hey, I've been meeting with other hungry advisors to grow. I thought about you. Here's a strategy. So if people can put the personal higher than the product, it will lead to higher profits. That's the key, and it's what most people fail to take action on.
So what would be a good example of using third grade language? Like, for example, when we did a webinar, we had a couple hundred advisors on the webinar and everybody loved it. And like one advisor, he said, "Matt, you know what I need help with? Derrick talked about this. I need to be the Godiva bar, not the Hershey bar."
Yeah.
I'm not even sure he remembered what the Godiva bar or the Hershey bar was, but he was like, "Matt, that got me excited. What I need help from you is I need to be Godiva, not Hershey." Like, to me, that was like, okay, that's language that he can understand. You know what I mean? So
Well, it's important to know, wholesalers have to examine what is the benefit that they're providing. And by the way, at first, this might sound like I'm minimizing wholesalers, but you could actually be one of the singular most powerful parts of an advisor's relationship in their business if you realize what you truly provide. You think it's the product and the service that you're part of, which is probably very, very good. But ultimately, what you're doing is you're helping that advisor easily attract their next best client. You see, here's the math. You have great products and services. The problem is advisors need more clients to use your products and services with. Help
right.
them fix the client problem, and they will help you fix your product quota problem. It's simple, simple math. And again, advisors, if they like the wholesaler and they believe in the wholesaler and they feel like the wholesaler gets them, understands them, they will even pick a product that we know sometimes is out of favor. And you almost feel embarrassed walking into that advisor's office. You're kind of like, well, we're not doing as well as we did last year. It is what it is. but because I like you, I will do business with you because you're helping me grow my business. That to me, if you can grasp that, and the you know how for most of these wholesalers used to be, hey, if you're looking for the large cap that's 5-star rated, this kind of stuff, and all of a sudden, oh, you start yawning right there. Hey, you know how hungry advisors want to attract their next best client? We help them fix that. Oh, you see, now you're a business growth engine. You're not just trying to put a little extra part onto the car. One, advisors value much more highly.
Yeah, my first year in the business, a great friend of mine, an advisor named Ron, he said, "Look, Matt, I don't need to rearrange the deck chairs." He's like, "I actually need like I need to add more like awesome deck chair." He's like,
Right,
if you're
right,
just gonna
right.
come
That's right. That's right.
if you're just gonna come in here and help me and rearrange the chairs, that's not bringing me any benefit." And I'll never forget that story. And what we do in the inner circle is we give you the value adds that are already done for you. So we give you the systems to help your advisors get new high net worth clients, have better relationships with centers of influence, provide better customer service to your top clients so that you get more referrals. All of that's done for you, right? Because at the end of the day, wholesalers, they don't have time to learn how to do all this stuff. So if you're a wholesaler out there and you have the time to learn how to do all that, great. Or you can just join the inner circle and it's already done for um, one of my buddies called me this morning. He said, "Hey, I just got in front of a $4 billion Morgan Stanley team." And I said, "Well, what did you do?" He said, "I sent your email." And the subject line said, "Name, need more high net worth clients, question mark," right? And the email said, "Name, hey, I know getting more high net worth clients is important to you and your firm. I have a couple ideas that I can run by you to get more high net worth clients." They emailed him back immediately. "Hey, we'd love to meet with you. Come on in." And then we have a presentation on how to get in front of more high net worth clients over the next 12 months. He delivered that presentation. They now want him to come back and meet with the entire, and he called me. You could just sense the excitement in his voice this morning, right? Just having that win with a $4 billion team. They're one of the top teams in the Northeast. But and that's a feel good, man. Like that pumps you up for like a month as a wholesaler when you have a good win like that. So
Well, one
man,
thing I
Derrick,
want to mention, this is kind of a an unsolicited plug, Matty D, for you. So you gave me this great idea. And I tell my wife, I was like, Matty D is delivering some great ideas for us. This is fantastic. And this digital event idea, okay, you coined it, you gave it to me. And as we're doing these, we're seeing just crazy, unexpected stories. Like we're seeing huge attendees. We're seeing wholesalers say, Derrick, this is probably, if not one of the best event that we've ever done for our advisors. But this is the cool part. Every one of those people says, oh yeah, we're part of Matty D's network. Man, we love the inner circle. We love what's going on. And what I realized was you've built a community. It's Matty D, you're the leader of it, but your energy and your passion, you're bringing all these other wholesalers. Now, I've never been a wholesaler, but I'm guessing, like a lot of my clients, they feel like they're on an island all by themselves. It's like, I got to figure this all out. And you're giving these people the turnkey templates. Do this, do this, do this. I've actually had, this is kind of funny, I've had several wholesalers just literally just copy the email that you did that invited me on when we did this the first time with you. And it's rinse and repeat. It's like every single, like you would think at some point the magic would stop, but it just keeps building. And it's because the messaging is consistent, it's tight, it's not about the product, not about the return, not about that. It's all about helping these advisors grow. And when these wholesalers are seen by the advisor as, oh, you're not just a wholesaler, you're a growth advocate for my business. Now, and I would even ask, this is a question I would say to every advisor if I were a wholesaler as you're leaving. Hey, how do you feel like I've provided value to you today? Crazy question. Would you be willing to consider me one of your top 3 wholesalers going forward? I want to build a relationship with you. I'd like to see you 4 times a year and bring you growth ideas. Would you be willing to put me on your top 3 list? See, if you say one, that sounds pretty self-assuming, but top 3, well, then they're going to probably put you high. You know what? You're not a third. You're probably my first or second top choices. But when you do that, you're asking simple questions to confirm your value. So many wholesalers wonder, what do these advisors think of me? Well, you'll know if you ask direct questions. Hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you evaluate our time together today? Then whatever score they give you, now you can build on that and ask how you can make that a 10. Super powerful. And by the way, this works with your kids. It works in your marriage. It works with your best friends. See, I think, Maddie D, the inner circle is not just for business. It's like for your life as the advisor and the wholesaler as well.
I love that. Hey, can you put me on your Mount Rushmore of wholesalers, right? It's at least
That's right.
that
Right
way
here.
that way you give yourself an extra 25%. You go from a 3, top 3 to top 4. Yeah, no, it's been amazing. I mean, digital events are unbelievable. There's 5 different types of digital events, but one of them is, you know, do a digital event with somebody that adds value. And as an example, Ross, he did a digital event with
Ross.
you.
Yeah.
He said, Matt, I hope I get 10 advisors to attend, right? He ended up getting 400 advisors that either attended or watched the replay. Um, and one of the advisors emailed him and said, Ross, that was the best value that I've ever gotten from a wholesaler in my entire career. So now you've got 400 advisors that want to meet with you. They're getting value. They're
Yeah.
watching you interview Derrick. And yeah, within the inner circle, we give you the speakers, we give you the contact information, we have discounted rates, we give you the 6-week email campaign to ensure that you're going to get the attendees. And then we give you the activity campaign for your internal to boost attendance too. So, if you want to find a speaker, write an email campaign and then write an activity campaign, it's so overwhelming that you're never going to do it. But if we give you the speaker, the exact emails, and the exact activity, you can go execute on this in minutes rather than, never doing it. So that's kind of the value we try to bring in the inner circle is, hey, we know what works. Run the play. Here's the playbook. Here's the exact email. Here's everything. The speaker, the emails, the activity. Just do this and it will work, right? Like, don't overcomplicate this. We know Derrick will crush it because Derrick's awesome.
Well, it's so funny. I was having this discussion with a coaching client earlier, and so many advisors, I think wholesalers are the same, especially the top ones. They, number one, forget their most recent successes so fast. But then they feel like they've got to keep reinventing what they're doing every single time. And so I'll ask somebody, Maddie D, I'll ask you this question. If you and your wife were going to splurge to go see your favorite musical artist, who would it be?
Oh my God. It would have to be probably Coldplay or Taylor
Okay.
Swift for her, one of those two.
Okay. So do you think when Coldplay or Taylor Swift arrives in your town, they get to a coffee shop 3 hours early and they're like, hey, we've been singing all the same songs this tour. We got to write all new music for tonight. Do you think they do that? Or they walk in, they're going to sing the same great hits like everybody expects,
That's a
right?
great point. That's a great point.
And so one of the things that you have to realize, whether you're the wholesaler or the advisor, the most successful people do the same successful, boring things, and that's what keeps them successful. If you rethink everything over and over again, you're simply burning brain cells in a way that's going to cost you money and cost you time. So, to your point, when you've got the subject line and you've got the body and you've got the consistent results, your focus group is telling you, hey, when we do this, we continually get this result. Well, you know what? We got to change it. No, let's keep doing the exact same thing so that you can focus on not re-wordsmithing the email. How about you go call 2 more advisors and have more face time? Just let the system work, and then you do the face-to-face work, and that's how it all works to grow.
Yeah, you just reminded me. That's why I love talking to you, Derek. You always remind me of great ideas. But one of the greatest wholesalers in my territory, he's retired. He was one of the most well-respected wholesalers. He probably is the most respected wholesaler in Washington. He's retired, lives in
Wow.
Mercer Island. But one thing he told me is he said, look, you know what? Advisors, let's say you're an independent advisor or an RIA. He said, Matt, remember this one word. And the one word was accountability.
Ah, yes.
He said every advisor out there is struggling with accountability. So one of the best values that you can add as a wholesaler is, understand what their goals are, right? Hey, what are you doing to achieve those goals? Would it be helpful if I can help you just stay accountable, right? Every quarter, let's get together and let's make like that's something so easy to do. But as humans, we all crave community, as you said earlier, right? We want to be part of something bigger than ourselves, but we also crave accountability, right?
Mm,
Who can keep me on track? Because left to our own devices, we all get off track, right?
right, right.
Like you texted me, hey Matt, should I go to LPL Focus? I was like, Derek, book your ticket, man. You got to go. And you're like, you're right,
Did
man.
it.
You're right. Come on, it just got.
Well, and part of that is as I read my Bible a lot right now, there's a book in Joshua, and basically the admonition is be strong and courageous. Only be strong and courageous. And I've just had this feeling recently, 2026, halfway through the year, the people who rest and wait and give in to their fear are not going to achieve their goals. And I think about all these great movies where the hero of the movie at the end of it has all these regrets. If only I had done this, if only I had done this. And I want you to picture for a second, it's Christmas night in your house. The lights are turned down and you're looking and staring at the Christmas lights and you kind of stare so much they kind of get a little bit bigger in your eyes. I want you to think back and say, I freaking crushed this year. I like to call myself an anti-regret specialist. What can we do now to make sure you're doing the thing so that when you want to achieve them, you look back and say, I did the hard stuff when I didn't want to do it, but it opened up doors I would have never had opened had I not chose to be bold and courageous. So what I'm doing now is I'm telling people, let's set 30-day goals to do a pattern interrupt. If you want to see more advisors as a wholesaler, set a crazy 30-day goal and then separate that with 10-day sprints, 10-day sprints. If I can see this number in 10 days, this number in 10, suddenly in 30 days, I now have a whole new habit and a whole rearview mirror of activities and opportunities. I mean, if you saw even, gosh, 5 more people a week, I don't know the numbers, and you
Yeah.
asked for referrals and you added the value, you could probably see some very incremental growth occurring very, very rapidly.
Sounds so easy. It's so hard to execute. Well, Derek, we're at the top of the hour. Holy moly, man. You always bring the energy, the value, the stories, the communication skills, the language. I wish I could be a wordsmith like you, Derek. You're the best in the biz, man. But sincerely from the bottom of my heart, man, thanks for everything that you do for financial professionals, both the wholesalers, the financial advisors, and we'll get to meet in real life in a couple days at the conference. So super excited for that.
Looking forward to it. And what I would just tell people is, memorable people make the most money. It may be how you dress, how you speak, but typically when those advisors feel like you made them feel understood, you listened, they saw you handwriting notes as they're talking, doing the listening hustle, it makes them say, wow, that person really gets me. I want to work with them. If you're that wholesaler, like I said, sometimes this the small pieces can lead to big results.
I love it. Well, Derrick, appreciate you, my friend. We'll see you next week. And with that said, wholesalers, if you want to take your game to the next level, shoot me a DM on LinkedIn, shoot me an email, matt@10xwholesaler.com. That's matt@10xwholesaler.com. And we will catch you on the next interview. Matt and Derrick, peace out.